Hello good people, this is Chris. This is a screencast that's going to give you an overview of our parent-teacher conferences for next week. I know a number of you have been wondering, when will Chris create another screencast, and this one is for you. It's also for everyone here in our school, just to make sure we're on the same page around what conferences will look like next week, which will happen on Wednesday the 14th and Thursday the 15th. From 4 to 8 p.m. So at the end of this presentation, you should have a good idea of what conferences will look like, how they're structured, and what your responsibilities are both during conferences and before. So next week, conferences, again, will happen on Wednesday, October 14th, and Thursday, October 15th. They're going to be from 4 to 8 p.m. on those days, and of course happen in a remote setting. And they're going to be in a different format this year. It's not going to be just drop-in form as it has been when we're doing them in person. It'll be kind of a hybrid, right? So this is how it'll be structured. Essentially, the first hour and a half of that time will be open for drop-ins for parents who just want to come in and say hi to grade level teams. And then the last couple hours from 5:30 to 8 will be actual scheduled appointments from students who need intervention right now. We're going to get into why it's these particular students in the slides to come, but know that the students who will be scheduled are coming off a list that we consider really important for intervention. They have high attendance, but they have a number of Fs, so we call this an 85-5 list. And so students who are around 85% attendance and have somewhere between 2 to 5 Fs, those are really going to be the students at each grade level that we will focus in on next week during conferences. So for our teachers here, and then we'll talk about electives, SSPs, and administrators as well, here's the general structure for the rooms that you will be in. Zoom links will be sent out later this week or early next week, just so that our community has them as well, but similar groups to what you had during back to school night. In each grade level, there will be an administrator who will be the host of that meeting. They'll be also there to help out with any conversations and make sure that teachers are supported and parents and guardians have their question answered around perhaps return to school or anything else that they need to know during conference time. So your name here will indicate the room that you're in, and I want to call out our elective teachers. You can be in a grade level that you support during the drop-in times, which we'll get into. So let's say elective teachers have a 10th grade advisory. It might be a great spot to start for the drop-in time. And then once our students are scheduled out for their conferences, again from 5:30 to 8, you can pop into those conferences if you have that student. So I'll give more of an indication of what that looks like coming up here in a minute. So which students will attend? As I mentioned, the first 90 minutes of conferences, both on the 14th and 15th, will be parent drop-in time. We wanted to make sure that parents who wanted to come in and say hello and answer or ask questions to grade level teams would have a chance to do that. And so parents on each day can drop in between 4 and 5:30. If they need to talk to a specific teacher or group of teachers, then the administrator in that room can send them off to a Zoom breakout room if necessary. But this is time for them to come in and talk about their students' grades and attendance, and also potentially ask questions around return to school. Then from 5:30 to 8, in 30-minute increments, there will be intentional grade level meetings with intentional students that will be scheduled. And these students will come off of our 85-5 list. And again, there will be a chance for you to select those students in the coming days to make sure that we have the right students from that list coming into conferences. So the same schedule will happen both days, Wednesday, October 14th and Thursday, October 15th, 90 minutes for parent drop-in time, and then the next 2.5 hours to make sure we have intentional conferences with the students who need the most intervention right now. And so how will we choose these students? As I had mentioned, I went through our light teams intervention list and polled students, not all of them, it's not an exact science, but many students who kind of fit that 85-5 criteria. So students who have a high attendance or higher attendance, but a number of Fs. Historically, these are students that really do well with this type of intervention from the school, where they have direct meetings with grade level teams or particular teachers just to get back on track or have questions answered around missing assignments and work that needs to be completed. And so an example is given here. In the email that you'll receive with this screencast, you'll have a link to this referral form. This referral form is really just, you're gonna select by whatever grade level you support the most, students who you think need to have a meeting. Now, some details here. It says select 10, there's like only 11, 12, 13 on the list, depending on the grade level. I say select 10 because we know that not every parent or guardian will be able to join the meetings at the time that we've been given, and so we have 10 spaces over 2 days, and we might not have all 10 spaces filled for our conference time. And so you'll select those 10. I'll make sure that the ones that have the highest selections are the ones that administrators are calling first and trying to schedule appointments, knowing that from 5:30 to 8, not all of those appointments necessarily will be filled, but we're going to try to do our best to have as many parent meetings as possible. So again, this is a referral form for you to fill out. It should take about 1 or 2 minutes, just so we have teacher input on the students who need the meetings in the most intentional manner. And then on those 2 nights, here's kind of the expectations. From 4 to 8, you'll be in the Zoom space, either waiting for parents to come in or planning for the upcoming meetings. And it might be also time that you are planning because there's nobody in that particular meeting. I know for me as a 9th grade lead, I'll make sure to contact the team if and when a parent pops into the meeting, and so they can be using that time to plan, grade, prepare for the upcoming quarter, whatever necessary during that time. And so grade level teachers will be in those grade level spaces. Elective teachers, again, choose the space that you support during electives, during advisory for that drop-in time. And then throughout the course of the night, or the 2 nights, you can pop into meetings if you have those students. So, for example, you might have a 10th grade advisory, but you see down here at 7:30, there's an 11th grader who's in your elective class that you really want to chat with. You can feel free to go to that meeting, and all the links will be prepared for you to do so. So those 2 nights, again, expected to be in those Zoom spaces, getting ready to have or be engaged in conferences with your grade level teams, and elective teachers can be in and out based on the meetings that are scheduled. You guys will all have access to this schedule once it's filled in. Please note, though, that administrators as well as our office staff will be making the calls and scheduling these meetings. We want to take that lift off of teachers in such a busy time. So as teachers, your only requirement ahead of time is to fill out that referral form to make sure we have the names that you feel are most pressing for conferences. That's really the summary of our parent-teacher conferences for next week. Again, it's a different format, but it's a different world, and that different world requires some different solutions. And so we're optimistic and confident that this structure will work, and we'll definitely learn about how it worked and what we can do better in the future for conferences. Please, and as always, if you have questions, reach out to me or anybody on the administrative team around conferences or how to do these in a manner that's really beneficial for students. And thank you so much for your work, your time with kids, and your service to our kids and our broader community. I know that it doesn't go unseen, and you are appreciated. Thank you so much.